this I thought was really fascinating. There are right now Joe Biden at the very least dealing with some of what and there's from what I hear from folks who are focused on immigration, mixed grades at this point. One thing that's happening right now is this program where the so-called migrant protection protocols that have basically 70,000 asylum seekers and migrants stuck in Mexico across the border are now starting to flow a little bit. And there has been at least some lip service paid. I don't know if we have any parents back yet by the Department of Homeland Security that parents who have not been able to reunite with their children in this country will be allowed to come back to this country to reunite with their children who we basically kidnapped. And one of the narratives that the Republicans, one of the few, substantive to the extent that they can, that's not potato or Seuss based in terms of rallying their troops will be, of course, an anti-immigrant sentiment. Here is a reporter from CBS trying to push this and sort of launder it through the American people as if the American people are completely enraged and concerned about essentially a new caravan. Here is this exchange in the White House press room.
But a lot of Americans are saying that, the surges are happening under President Biden's watch after he reversed some previous policies. So does the administration take any accountability for what's happening?
Who are the Americans?
Well, I know you don't want to answer to him, but the former president just released a statement saying that the Biden administration must act immediately to end the border nightmare that they have unleashed on our nation.
Former President Trump?
Yes.
We don't take our advice or counsel from former President Trump on immigration policy, which was not only inhumane, but ineffective over the last 4 years. We're going to chart our own path forward, and that includes treating children with humanity and respect and ensuring they're safe when they cross our borders.
And that includes, a little bit nicer child detention centers.
Yeah, it's true. But I mean, well, let's
yes,
just,
or the exact same child detention centers, actually.
Well, they trick them out just a little bit more just to give the veneer of respect.
Maybe there's some nice posters on the wall now.
That is true.
Justin Bieber or whoever.
That is true. And they've opened up a detention center in Florida, and it remains to be seen what's going to happen in terms of Joe Biden's immigration policy. I mean, it is, like I say, some of the pledges kept, some of them not.
But a pretty good answer.
But nevertheless, what's fascinating here is, to me, in this exchange, because neither one of them have anything to do with any of it, frankly. What's fascinating to me in this exchange is just the attempt to create this sentiment amongst the American public that they are worried about a surge at the border. Now, there may be a percentage of Americans that are out there, but apparently that wouldn't have been, sufficient to ask a question. 30% of Americans are afraid of immigrants at the border. What's Joe Biden going to do? The reporter wouldn't do that, and because you'd then have to bring up 70% of Americans approve of this bill. 80% want expanded Social Security coverage. And so this deployment of some Americans, when it's really just Donald Trump put out a press release, is fascinating to me. And, I'm glad that it's being shot down in that way, as just simply as a political matter, because it's going to allow for more room for better policy on immigration's perspective.
I mean, I guess all that is true. And I am glad that she shot it down because obviously anti-immigrant sentiment is bad and it's something that needs to be fought however possible. However, she also said it is more effective immigration policy. And what are we talking about when we say effective? We're talking about keeping people out of this country who want or need to come here for whatever reason. So I see that the Biden administration is trying to disaggregate this kind of racism and xenophobia while still doing the immigration policy that limits the number of people who can come to this country and criminalizes migration so that the people here are, uncertain about their status.
Yes, I mean if that's where it lands. I mean, there's been talk out of the Biden administration that well, they're not automatically criminalizing folks when they cross the border for the act of crossing the border. They're going to reverse that, which is what they use to separate the children. But yes, the question is like, will you get a system where people can, at the very least, a system where people can come into this country and become citizens, or and specifically gain the rights of citizenship, and then if that fundamental decision is made, it is really just a question of like how you go about doing it.
And I also just think it's quickly fascinating how the Biden administration is responding in this way, right? Like that almost seemed like it was a set up for Jen Psaki there, by the way. It was such a perfect response. But normally for her purposes, normally they'd kind of pay lip service to bipartisanship, but they're not doing that. They're just using that to shoot down the former president, Donald Trump, where usually there's this ceremony and, we have to show respect to the office. They're not doing that. And I think it's kind of created a chain reaction in the media too, maybe that's what's emboldened the Biden administration to respond that way, because the media doesn't treat Trump with respect, and so they're not doing so either. And that's kind of, I think, had a beneficial effect on the discourse in general.
Yeah, the longer Donald Trump is synonymous with the Republican Party, I think the harder it's going to be for the media to make the pivot that they sort of desperately want to make.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah, I guess it remains to be seen what she means when she says effective. I'm not that optimistic, but we will see.